Hey everybody, today we're going to jump right into my 8th week of training for the New York City Half Marathon. Let's do a quick recap. All right, welcome back everybody. So what we are doing today is recapping, like I said, week 8 of the New York City Half Marathon training plan. Now, I'm sorry, I am 1 day behind compared to when I would usually want to put out a video like this. Busy day yesterday. I actually drove up to Mount Snow to ski and snowboard with my youngest brother, who's just sort of getting into the sport again. He did really well yesterday. My middle brother and myself are skiing and snowboarding our whole lives, and we always go up there and do different trips and things. You just saw a video where we were at Stowe. So yesterday we were at Mount Snow near Wilmington in Dover, Vermont. And I just had a good day, again, getting my youngest brother and my dad out on skis again. Run number 1 from the week was originally scheduled for Monday, but we had just finished a pretty tough 10-mile workout on the Sunday prior. So I actually just moved my rest day 1 day over, which left us with a 5-mile run, the first one of the week, on Tuesday this week. This was an easy 5-mile run, nothing crazy. I was well recovered at that point after the Sunday run. Everything was feeling comfortable. I wasn't really out of breath. I wasn't really sore. So I was very happy with the way that run went. Going into Wednesday, we did a midweek middle distance mileage run. It was a little bit longer than I've been doing for a lot of my midweek runs. This was a run of 8 miles, and this was a week in particular where I cut out any speed work. It's something that I mentioned in the video itself, where I just need a week every once in a while where I'm not necessarily on the track, not necessarily doing hill repeats, and just getting some mileage in. I wanted to see how my body was reacting to this now higher mileage. We were looking to cross 30 miles for the second time in this training block this week, and this is coming off of some hamstring and tendon issues in my ankle really last fall, and it's been going through the winter. I've had some PT and things like that I've been taking care of to try and get stronger in different parts of my leg muscles, my core. So, just to push my body again to 30 miles was a lot for me right now. And I'm just curious to see how everything held up at 8 miles, and then again with a subsequent long distance run over the weekend, which we'll get to. So 8 miles, it felt very comfortable. It's been a long time since I was able to do an 8-mile run without much thought. And I think I mentioned this on Wednesday. It just felt like I could go out and do it. I didn't have to bring gels. I didn't have to bring water. And my body just reacted well to continuing to stay on its feet for over an hour. The 8 miles went right by without much thought, much question. And I really didn't have to, push through anything, mentally work through anything. I was just out there running and having a good time. On Thursday, we were actually in New York City, and this was the day that I was supposed to do a 3-mile recovery run after the 8 miles on Wednesday. Unfortunately, with our work schedules, both my wife and I wasn't able to get on an actual run, but I was able to bike for about the equivalent 30 minutes, which was a little bit over 5 miles of biking. This was just a bike casually through New York City, a little bit of hills here and there, but overall just a very low aerobic workout. And it was what was going to have to do for this week because, again, of the schedules and commuting into the city. It just didn't work out that I could squeeze a 3-mile run in. So I was okay and satisfied with the 3-mile bike effort. Friday was a 5-mile run again. This is where we took ourselves over to Newburgh to share the rest of the Newburgh waterfront run that I was hoping to get in on Wednesday. Turns out I ran out of mileage and just miscalculated how far from me that area actually was. So we got right back out there and did our 5 miles in that section of Newburgh. It was a nice run. It has a long, gradual uphill that I was able to use for the first 2.5 miles. And this was hoping to simulate some of the long, gradual uphills like the Manhattan Bridge during the New York City Half, as well as some of the other sections as you approach Times Square and go through Times Square in New York City. It's surprisingly a long, drawn-out uphill, and you may not think of that. And even, having lived in the city for many years myself, the first time I ran the New York City Half, that kind of surprised me. You just don't really see the hill when you're out there walking, driving, commuting, whatever it might be. But then all of a sudden when you're out there on race day, you're, approaching miles 10, 11, you realize it's all uphill. So it's been good to get some of those long gradual uphills in my training. And that was, again, part of the run on Friday at that Newburgh waterfront. Saturday was the second rest day of the week. I've been doing 2 each week just to give my body, again, that time to recover, trying to ease back into the higher mileage, or what I consider higher mileage for my body, coming off of a couple of injuries. It was important to get that second rest day in for me on Saturday and prepare for the long run on Sunday. Now, Sunday was our first 12-mile run in this training block. And it's the farthest that I've really pushed myself, I think, of any running that I've been doing since, again, really having those injuries or issues. I would just call them issues more than injuries, with tendons in my right ankle and my left upper hamstring. And there's a little bit of frustration that's kicking in. It's still bothering me. Definitely, it's going to be an issue. I think if I was to continue to do 30 plus miles a week, every single week, including 10 to 12 mile runs for an extended period of time, I'm feeling that, in my body, in those 2 areas I mentioned, the tendons are starting to hurt again as I start to creep up in the mileage, and as I start to, increase the distance of a single run, including, again, that 8-mile run in the middle of the week and then 12 miles on the weekend. I didn't bring the camera. I didn't really do anything. I just wanted to go and be completely focused on the run, keep it easy, but just really feel what's going on, see if I'm noticing anything that was out of whack, out of balance. I didn't want to hold my camera, which, again, is generally in one hand, and it may change my form and things like that. So just testing out the 12 miles completely, hands-free and focused 100% on the run. Like I said, with the discomfort, I don't really know 100% what the plan forward is from here. I'm feeling pretty good today. It's actually Tuesday morning. I'm feeling pretty good today. For right now, it's really just a mild discomfort. It's not a pain or something that would stop me from running, but the issue is I don't want to push beyond that point and get to a situation where I have, real pain or something that's really going to stop me from actually doing the runs that I want to do week in and week out. So there may be a little bit of reduction in mileage. We may not push my longest run of this training block all the way up to 14 miles. I might cap it at 13. I may even just do a 12-mile run as my long run for the rest of the training block, the last couple of weeks that I still have to work through. And, as far as the middle week long runs, maybe I just need to keep those a little bit shorter throughout the week and let my body, get used to doing the long run on the weekend, but just not accumulating so much total mileage. I'll put the mileage graph for the last few weeks and really throughout the training block on your screen now. I've been progressing very, very easily, and in terms of volume and effort, I really haven't upped the anticipated pace for my workout runs on the track. I haven't changed my effort level in my 200, 400 meters, threshold miles, those sorts of things. So everything's just been holding tight and trying to just gradually increase those miles again, since we're going for a half marathon and hopefully can get back to doing some marathons in the fall season. I have to see. It's a lot of monitoring. Like I said, it's a little bit frustrating. It's a little bit difficult to figure out the exact correct path forward for me. But I just want to share again my experiences since the marathon with these couple of tendon issues that I've been having. This is where I am, and this is what I've got to work through if I want to, ultimately run the New York City half and continue racing throughout the season. So I'll be a little cautious going forward. I'll definitely be monitoring my body 100%. I'll continue to share how I'm feeling when we're running this week. I'm not going to stop at this point. I'm just going to be mindful again of the total mileage and see where we can go from there. So I just wanted to give you that brief update and recap. Again, keep it going. We'll hold strong and, see what I can get out of this training block. I'm hoping that all of you are having much more success coming into the spring marathon and half marathon season. There's a lot of good races coming up very, very soon. So I wish all of you the best of luck with that. And, again, just thanks for following along and being interested in my training. Hopefully this does bring something to you that you can use to, better prepare yourself going forward. I think definitely my number one tip is keep your strength training going. I mean, that I think was ultimately my downfall over the last couple seasons, just not being as strong and focusing as much on that strength training as I would have to maintain the mileage for, who I am as a person, my weight, all that stuff. Just got to make sure I'm still being effective in the gym, keeping my leg muscles strong, my core strong, my ankles strong. So that way it takes a lot of that pressure off of those tendons. And, ultimately I'm just able to push myself to that higher mileage if I want to get there. And ultimately stay tuned to see what comes out of the New York City Half Marathon. Last year I was looking to do about a 1:52:30, I think, 1 hour, 52 minutes and 30 seconds. Haven't really mentioned a goal yet this year, but I would love to do better than I did last year. So take care, everybody, and I hope to see you in the next video.